This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to PeopleTech, the podcast of WorkforceAI.news. I'm Mark Pfeffer. My guest today is Naomi Lariviere, Vice President of Product Management for ADP's Shared Services. She leads strategic planning, among other things, for 6 of ADP's business units. So she's got a view of AI that's both broad and deep. We're going to talk about reality today, who's using the technology and why, shadow AI, how they're using it, and what's its value. That and more on this edition of PeopleTech. Hey Naomi, welcome. So I wanted to pick up on a conversation you and I started, I think, when we were at HR Tech in Las Vegas, which was about AI and kind of a reality check almost. I want to start by just asking you, from where you sit, given your job at ADP, what's really going on out there in the world in terms of AI?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mark, and thanks for having me back again. I really appreciate every time we get to talk to each other. What I would say is there's been a lot of hype all this past year around AI, agents, just lots of, rah-rahness in the marketing spiel. But I think you're starting to see signals. I mean, there's been a lot of academic research papers that have been coming out recently around, most use cases fail, so on and so forth. And even in some of the tenor and some of the conferences, that have happened since HR Tech, I see and sense a ratcheting back of that in terms of what people are talking about and, really starting to focus on outcomes and how AI can help you drive an outcome in your organization. So I think the tone and tenor is tending now to be a little bit more tempered in terms of what I see and what I hear. And that actually kind of reflects what I hear from sales prospects and clients that I talk to on a regular basis is, they're not excited when you come in and you're like, saying, AI can spin 12 plates on one finger and that kind of stuff. They actually are looking for real, honest answers about how is this technology going to help or support me and my team. And I think they're looking for practical solutions to their problems. And I think, this industry is starting to kind of self-correct on that narrative.
It's kind of sifting out some of the blowhards too, isn't it? I mean, for lack of a better term, but there were all these companies just showing up and saying, "Well, we have AI, so it's going to be great." And maybe they had AI, maybe they didn't. But you can't just get away slapping a sticker on the box and saying it's AI. I don't think. I mean, can you?
People will try. However, I think that's, in the recent conversations I've been having, a lot of people are going like, just tell me what you're actually doing. Show me it in the product. I want to see, give me a user login, let me log in, go and take a look at what it is you're doing. And, how does it actually work? Like, give me your tech manual, tell me, how you have defined AI, because one of the things that I also see in the market is we all use the terms interchangeably in different ways to define different things. And to your point, yes, somebody could slap a sticker on it and say it's AI, but it's really in the nuanced understanding of like having to unpick that. And the common buyer probably wouldn't have that education to unpick, was it really AI or not? And, in our way of thinking and how we do it, like we will tell you exactly what it is that we're doing. We clearly and have been doing this now for a while, is articulating how we define our AI, have instilled our responsible AI program at ADP. And I think those are the types of questions any vendor or any company should be able to answer to anybody that they're talking to in terms of doing business with.
Do you think to the customers, and I don't just mean the people who are actually making the buying decision,
Mhm.
but the people who are using it, is it really an issue that they're pushing? I mean, are they so concerned about it, or are they taking this approach we were talking about where they want to see the results?
I think the buyers, they're asking the like much tougher questions of like, tell me what this is, because I mean, if you're in a buying situation, you've probably heard it all at that point, right? But when I talk, and I actually was talking with a client last week, and I was showing them some things that we are doing in the system that they are purchasing from us. And I think it's very brave when a HR practitioner raises their hand and says, like, is this going to take my job? And that's not our intention with the technology that we are building. We're really thinking about, how can we help you make faster decisions or execute on a process in a faster way, or improve how your payroll is done more accurately and more reliably every single time. So our focus is like really about integrating AI into the flow of their work. So I think it's based off of how much you know about AI and what you understand. It varies the question that you might receive if, like, say, someone's talking to me.
We hear, so much about how AI is going to let people be more efficient,
Mhm.
get more done in the same amount of time. But do you think it's changing how people actually work? And I'm thinking about things like soft skills.
Mhm.
Um, if you're collaborating on something with AI, you're not collaborating with a person. So I think your behavior would be different. Are you sensing that people are losing, some of those skills that, human to human?
There's probably lots of studies on, and you can probably look at the video gaming industry as a great example of, like children not being as social as they could be because they spend too much time on video games. And I think that's reflective too in terms of AI. And I also think it's about the AI that you're using. If you're using Chat GPT, and I think there's a lot of individuals that use Chat GPT to help them with their work every day. It can act as a coach. It can help you do stuff, and for me, it actually pushes me to like really sharpen my pencil in terms of how I'm thinking about stuff, because I always ask it to play devil's advocate with me. So I think it pushes like how my critical thinking skills as well as my creativity skill sets. Now, in terms of like communication, what I would say is, to a certain extent, what we're seeing in the data is, or at least what you kind of see in even the anecdotes, is that you can tell when somebody's written something using AI, and I think that puts people who do that at a disadvantage. And I think to a certain extent, it's like, can you do better? But in terms of like how ADP approaches AI, it's all woven into how do they actually do their job, and how do we make them better? Like, we don't allow them to sit there and do the things that you could if you were just going to chat gpt directly. So a little bit different in terms of how we build and develop the AI.
Pace of change in the world of business is fast, and that drives incredible complexity for the world of human resources.
Welcome to the HR Data Lab's Brown Bag Lunch, a series of conversations with experts inside and outside the world of human resources on how to innovate, measure, and evolve our practices.
Our goal is to help provide you with practical examples of how HR has to change and to meet in this complex business environment.
Every week, we'll talk to new and different voices on all aspects of human resources.
And guess what? You get to chat with us live.
Live?
Live.
So they can answer questions or they can ask us questions.
They can ask, they can answer, whatever they want. They get to talk with us live.
That's awesome.
Sometimes we geek out on the data and technology that underlie the processes that drive the world of HR.
But the conversations are always insightful and fun. So please enjoy the HR Data Labs Brown Bag Lunch.
This is William Tincup, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Indeed FutureWorks. Ryan and I attended the conference last year, and we created a limited series for Indeed where we talked to their customers. Great stories around TA and how they use Indeed to the max. So check it out. It's just Indeed FutureWorks 2024. You could search for it wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks.
So how do you use AI?
Personally,
Yeah.
I use it. I use it for a lot of different things. At home, it's to help me meal prep, like come up with my grocery list. Like I gluten free, so I have like all, and I eat my macro eat, so it helps me, figure out a meal plan that works within kind of my nutritional requirements. I also use it to help me plan things. We just went to Italy for vacation as a family, and it helped me plan my itinerary, especially when I have children at all various different ages, whatever activities that might be interesting for them. And I also use it to help me with my social media that I do outside of my job, and like helping me write content for those pursuits. So, I mean, those are generally, kind of like three examples of how I use it. At work, I use it to really help me think about my strategy and like push me in terms of am I thinking about things the right way?
I've been using it a lot for research, and one of the things I found is it's great for research, but once you've done your research, you've got to go back and check everything.
Hmm.
You really just can't trust it. Um, I'm not sure that most people think that way. I think there's a lot of people who, if they see something online, it's real. And do you encounter that kind of thing in your conversations?
I do. I actually had a coworker show me a train picture of like the train going over water. I instantly looked at it and said, "That's AI." I think it's really important. This technology is supposed to help us. But we should be healthy skeptics in it. So, for example, yesterday I was doing some research myself on the difference or nuances between two different role types within the product management sphere. And I asked it to provide references to the latest articles or research on the topic. And it can be wrong. So, like one of the links that it gave me, it really actually wasn't talking about the exact same thing that I was trying to research. So you have to be willing to do the extra work. It's not like a set it and forget it or an easy button. It makes things less cumbersome, but you do have to do your homework regardless of how you use it when you're using it as like you're putting your prompts in and you're getting a response from it, because depending on how you answer the question, it thinks it's answering the question the right way, but it may not be.
You talk to a lot of people, obviously, about
Mhm.
this. And do you think AI is it really changing the way people work and how they approach work? Or is it more like, okay, it helps me do things faster, and so that's what it does?
It's probably a bit of a combination of the two of those. But also, I mean, maybe let's ground that question in reality. If you're a corporation or an organization and you like, I've talked about this on my LinkedIn feed. I was in a room where I was speaking to an organization that I knew had not rolled out AI to their associates. And
Mhm.
I asked them, how many people here are using AI? Every single hand went up in that room. And then I clarified. I said, okay, where are you using that? Are you using it on your work computer or your phone? Raise your hand if it's the phone. Every single hand went up in his phone. So I do believe that there is this shadow use of AI in the marketplace, or like in employees. Like they can't get access to the tools on their corporate laptops, so they're doing it on their phones. I think that also begs the question of, are organizations helping their individuals become more AI literate and giving them the rules of the road of like what they should and shouldn't do with AI, and especially if it's in the work context, because it can lead to unintended negative consequences for an organization. So to a certain extent, I think that people are going, well, if I can't get it through my work computer, then I'm going to try and get it anyway. That will help me gain that extra edge. I mean, if you look at just kind of where we are at this point in the year, it's the if I can do that extra thing that helps me get my bonus and or the merit increase, because we're coming up on that time, then I think some people are doing that. And does it help them be more efficient? It's hard, because if they're not using it in a tool that was provided by an organization, the statistics aren't available to us, right? So we can't tell from that perspective. If you are using a organizationally approved thing, you can monitor, is it actually making people more efficient or effective in their role? We've got a capability that we've released to our clients that allows them to go through payroll variances. We give them, we detected a variance. Here's the possible reasons for that variance. And we give them recommendations on how they can solve that problem. When we talk to our clients and ask them about that particular problem, they were like, it takes me 90 minutes every single time I do this. And now that we've rolled this new component out, they are saying to us, it's knocking anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes off of my time. So is it making them more efficient? Yes. But that's because we're able to actually track that within the technology that we are providing to our clients. But if it's just general, Naomi sitting here and she's using her phone to use ChatGPT for something, then, it's hard to track. Is that giving somebody a productivity gain or not?
Naomi, it's always great to talk to you, and thanks again for coming by.
Thank you.
My guest today has been Naomi Lariviere, the Vice President of Product Management for ADP Shared Services. And this has been PeopleTech, the podcast of WorkforceAI.news. We're a part of the Work Defined Podcast Network. Find them at www.wrkdefined.com. And to keep up with AI technology and HR, subscribe to Workforce AI Today. We're the most trusted source of news in the HR tech industry. Find us at www.workforceai.news. I'm Mark Pfeffer.